Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and tonight we are talking about healing with some planetary energies involved. I already am going to apologize because I'm not also on Facebook and Instagram. I so apologize for that. The internet gods are not in my favor. We are having internet issues at my house, and apparently it's not necessarily in my house, but it's the down the street or around the corner or something, something, something is not working. So I apologize for that, but I thought I would still do live as much as I could. This is on my phone, so it's kind of like a little awkward. I know it's a little strange, but I wanted to get you the information nonetheless because it's really important because a lot of people have been wanting to heal with things that are going on. And literally, planetary energies are one of those amazing things to kind of heal with. And a lot of times, like people don't realize you can heal with that. Of course, we've got our super full blue moon out tonight that has amazing energy. I guarantee you that is amazing. And this is kind of one of those amazing energies of now we get to kind of do it with not only planetary energies, but we still have plenty of time. We still have planets that are in retrograde or kind of in this healing process that we can really kind of connect to. So I guarantee you this is going to be really, really interesting. But the planet I really want to talk to y'all about tonight is Chiron. Chiron is not necessarily a planet. It is more like a huge asteroid. It is a little bit smaller than Pluto, but it still has some amazing energies. And so that's just kind of like the energy of it. Now, let me just give you the stats right out on Chiron. So Chiron entered pre-shadow energy on February 29th of this year, went full retrograde on July 22nd, and will be in full retrograde until December 26th, and then it will station and go into post-shadow energy until April 18th of 2024. So this has a long lifespan to really connect with us, to really kind of bring in some amazing healing for us. And it's in the fiery sign of Aries. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but I guarantee you there is plenty of energy. There's plenty of amazing energy for us to connect to and really kind of find that fiery energy within us of like, what do we want to heal? What do we want to bring in differently than we already have been doing? How do we want to deal with this a little bit differently? Because I guarantee you so many times, like people are, talking about like, I want to heal or I want to do this. Stabilize this energy really well, but a lot of times like people are not sticking to it. And so this is kind of like one of the reasons why Chiron goes into retrograde for such a long period of time is because it's giving us a lot of opportunities to go into healing. I will tell you, there is a lot of energy with Chiron, and it's kind of really amped up a lot because we also had our lunar nodes change at the same time. We've had our sun go into Leo, which really pushes us to kind of like clear things out, move things along. And then adding the energy of Venus in retrograde also kind of really just adds to Chiron's energy. And Chiron is really known as the wounded healer. It's just kind of his place in the universe of kind of like healing not only himself but other people. And a lot of times I think of it as so many of us have been through things in our lives that have brought us healing in some amazing ways, but I guarantee you it taught us some really hard lessons. There may have been abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, all of that kind of energy coming in. And because we've made it through that, it gives us a different voice to kind of help other people to heal. And I have seen this on so many levels with so many different types of clients that are doing the same thing. They are going into healing. It's like, I've made this through, you can make it through. And that is an amazing way to really think about healing. Other people have been through worse. Other people have been through other things, and it's not like your story doesn't have any merit to it. It's just one of those, like, it just takes time. It's one of those, it takes time, and knowing that we have to keep working on healing ourselves to get ourselves into a better state or a better set of healing for us. And a lot of times what happens is we come out of when we're in that healing cycle, we come out of it with a deeper understanding or wisdom of like how to heal, what works, what doesn't work. A lot of times we come out with a lot of compassion for a lot of other people. So many times when people are talking about like healing something, they kind of go into their own wounded healer, and they're kind of like, well, this happened to me and that happened to me and this was done and that was done. And it's not that it's bad necessarily, but I guarantee you it's not healing anybody when you're just talking about what's already happened to you. When you start talking about how you work through that healing state, how did you give yourself a voice? How did you change the energy, or what did you tell yourself that really got you out of that energy is the important part. But understanding all of these wounds are meant to teach us something, to teach us how to be compassionate, how to connect to universal healing, how to bring out a different understanding for us. And this is really important that we kind of dive into kind of like Chiron's energy of the wounded healer. I don't want to go into it like too terribly much, but I guarantee you understanding a little bit about it will really help. I will tell you, Chiron in ancient times was considered a centaur. And the story of Chiron really helps us understand the energy and how it relates to us. The myth is that Chiron was abandoned at birth and left to fend for himself, even as an infant. Chiron was unwanted and unloved. And it was through this like painful wound of abandonment and difficult upbringing that he was able to rise up kind of like above his healing, like where he could have been or might have been, into this amazing, powerful healing energy. It is Chiron's wounds that have really kind of paved the way through the pain and the anguish and the tears to become a very powerful healer, a master teacher, a psychic, and a philosopher. And I guarantee you there are a lot of wounds that us as human beings have been through that have also kind of really connected to that wounded healer part as well. A lot of us have been through a lot of things, crazy stuff growing up, crazy stuff in relationships, all of those things. And that's kind of what we're kind of being presented with now is like, what do you want to heal? How do you want to heal this energy? And this is really kind of the interesting part of this. So Chiron really orbits between Saturn and Uranus, so way, way, way out there. And it has sufficient understanding to bring in energy to us. So it's like it's always sending this healing energy. Now, I do believe that it's amplified when it's in retrograde. And kind of really brings in a lot of healing for us. Now, Saturn is very grounded and rooted in energy, whereas Uranus is considered the planet of higher vibrations, of kind of like whatever energy is highest, that's where I'm going to go. That's where I'm going to move to. And this can bring awakenings of like into our Kundalini, which is our spine, bringing in all of that support and that healing. And then Chiron can be that, act as that bridge between the two, kind of between our super grounded Saturn with foundations, and then kind of into Uranus with this kind of like higher vibration kind of energy, and bringing us like much required healing to ourselves. If y'all are clicking in, make sure you stop and say hi. And if you have any questions, please make sure that you post. I know this is kind of like a heavy kind of topic. Let's see. I don't want to go too much into the past. So Chiron is in retrograde in the sign of Aries. Chiron doesn't want us to just heal. It wants us to make it better. And kind of like once we learn how to heal us, Chiron wants us to go out and heal other people. So that's a really interesting part of Chiron's energy, and wants us to become like a super powerful portal of bringing in universal wisdom, universal knowledge and power to not only bring in healing to ourselves, but bring in healing to our families, our friends, our town, our state, our country, and kind of bringing in many different levels of healing, not just fixing one thing, but fixing many, many things. I will tell you that Chiron in the sign of Aries is all about like finding strength and confidence and courage that can rise when we kind of face our wounds and kind of like go through where the wound came in from, why did that wound come in, and what was it meant to teach us at the time? A lot of times what people end up doing is they just keep telling the story over and over and over again. My dad did this to me, my mom did this to me, my ex-boyfriend did this, or my ex-girlfriend did this, they cheated, they lied, they blah blah blah, and they keep telling the story, but they're never working through it. So to understand a little bit about the other person as well, why did they feel like they had the right to cheat on us or lie or whatever it is, that can kind of give us a deeper insight into them. It's not about them, but kind of giving that understanding, like, why did they feel like they had this right to treat us this way? Part of it comes in of kind of really bringing in, kind of looking for that insight into how did their energy hurt us, and how can we heal or work through this energy as well. And I think that's one of those, like, really like bring it in. Aries really reminds us that we are far more beneficial to allow the wounds to, like, inspire us. Because I've been through this and I've healed through this, now I can inspire others to heal themselves. Now I can motivate others or offer strength, and like, I made it through this, and now you can make it through. That is a very powerful statement. And something that slows us down to make us feel like that we're not worthy. It's one of those wounds kind of really kick in, like someone didn't think we were able to heal through this, or they didn't think we ever could. And we've made it through, kind of bringing that energy in to kind of like bring in this healing, bring in that insight that we can really heal ourselves, heal other people, and move forward in all of this. This is going to be the really cool part for us. A lot of wounds are very painful, and a lot of wounds have a lot of deep triggers, and they trigger on many different levels, especially if we lived in abuse, if we had a childhood abuse or lived in a relationship, a very abusive relationship, that can also come in as well with this very heavy energy to kind of like, where is it at? Where is the pain at? And what do I require to kind of work through this? Some wounds that cut so deep, it's one of those, we really have to ask ourselves, are we okay? Or sometimes we have to really take a time, step out of the package, or kind of step back and kind of allow that energy to kind of come in and like heal that first before we're ready to move forward. And kind of really that taking that step back is in that retrograde energy of like working through this. What was it that we really require healing for ourselves? What do we require bringing forward? And really looking at all sides of the abuse that we went through. The person who did it to us, why did they do it? What was our input into it? Doesn't mean that we were at fault or anything, just like what was our input into it, and kind of seeing it from different sides, different angles, is going to give us a deep insight into all things healing related, reflecting on what the wounds taught you. So many times people will just keep telling the story. My ex-boyfriend cheated on me or whatever else, and it's like, you should have learned something, but they keep just repeating it. I didn't have any idea, and he did this, he did that, he did that. And literally as they're saying it, they're giving their power away to that ex-boyfriend, even though that ex-boyfriend doesn't want anything to do with it. The thing is, though, is we keep doing that so many times, like, this happened to me and that happened to me and this happened to that person. And what we really should be looking at is, what was I meant to learn in this? And a lot of it doesn't mean like not to trust somebody. It's one of those, to see the signs, to speak my voice. Like, as soon as it starts like something's not right here, instead of like sweeping it under the rug of like, no, I'm not going to talk about it. This is the important part of like, yes, I've really got to work in this energy. This is going to be the really cool part for us. And release any judgment. I think a lot of times, especially if you've had wounds, a lot of times other people will come in and go, oh no, I have more wounds or whatever else. And a lot of times we're not really healing each other. What we're doing is putting each other down, and we're not really working through any of the healed parts that we should be doing at that time. Releasing judgments is really important, and just sitting any of the pain that's coming forward and kind of giving it a voice. If that's a yelling or screaming voice, breaking things voice, whatever that is. Sometimes that can also be like beating up a pillow or something like that, and kind of getting out that aggression, kind of that anger, so that you can be comfortable with what comes after it, of like just the, now I've given it a voice, I've given it life, and now it can move on. I will say really opening up to kind of our energy in this area, identifying what was the painful heartbreak that we were facing, that we required facing, and we've done it. And now looking at that and kind of finding like our voice in all of that, challenging ourselves to identify what we should have learned in that instance is going to be life-changing, really life-changing. And I will tell you the other part is really kind of taking a challenging situation and facing it with another person, or looking at it with someone else, finding a healer or someone who can work with you through this, putting it all on emotional aside and kind of just looking at what actually happened, and then eventually adding that emotion in there. The emotions are just as important as anything else, but sometimes we get overwhelmed with the emotions and then we're not working through a lot of the other pain. But I guarantee you the number one thing is don't stop healing yourself. So many times people get in the healing realm and then they're just like, stop, I don't want to do anymore. It's overwhelming. It's too much. And what you end up doing is getting yourself stuck over again. Like you were stuck with the first incident, and now you're stuck with the second one where you were trying to heal yourself. And it's like, now we're not doing anything else. And it's like not helping us, and it's only making it more hard, more difficult to move forward than anything else. The last one I will say is think about the painful wounds of your past, giving them a voice, giving yourself a voice during that time frame. And it really depends on your energy. Are you someone who likes to voice things out? Then you should give it a voice. Literally yell, scream into a pillow, whatever that is, like get it out. If you're a writer, then sometimes that's writing it out. Doesn't mean you need to send it to anybody, but it's like writing it out. This hurt my feelings, or this really bothered me, whatever it is, and kind of giving that, like talking about the actions and then talking about the feelings afterwards can really bring us to a new healed state in this area. The actions are important, but so is the emotions, but usually the actions have to be dealt with first, and then the emotions come in later on to kind of help give us a deeper insight and kind of without overwhelming us in all of this. I guarantee you. I'm going to pull a couple of angel cards and hopefully get y'all a deeper insight into all things healing with Chiron. And I'm going to pull this card right here first. This one is the card that's going to be upside down. Okay, the card I pulled was Mercury, and this is all about messages. If you are seeing this video, this is the message for you. This is what you should be working on during this time frame. We have a lot of time of Chiron still in retrograde until the day after Christmas, so we still have a lot of time to work on. This is the card on this, and it's going to give us that insight into it. This is the card opposition, and this is all about confrontation. This is what we have to do to that energy that we've been through, giving us that deeper insight into what's going on. That is also important, is giving it the pain itself a voice, and then giving the emotions a voice is going to be really an amazing energy. I know. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon. Have a great night.